The mess hall of Outpost Kepler 7 fell silent the moment Sergeant Kara Lorne stepped through the reinforced doors. That wasn't unusual. Humans still commanded a certain wariness among the Galactic Coalition species, even 3 years after first contact. What was unusual were the 3 juvenile Vorathians padding behind her in perfect formation. Commander Geltan, a towering crystalline whose translucent form flickered with alarm colors, rose from his seat. Sergeant Lorne, protocol dictates that predator species juveniles remain in the containment habitats during feeding hours. Kara didn't break stride toward the food dispensers. Behind her, Ren's ear flaps twitched, the Vorathian equivalent of a smirk. His siblings, Voss and Tira, matched his pace exactly, their 6 legs moving in synchronized steps that would have made any drill instructor proud. With respect, Commander, they're not in containment because they're part of my team. Kara grabbed a tray, then 3 more. And teams eat together. The mess hall's occupants, a mix of methane-breathing klaxons, photosynthetic dendrites, and various other species, pressed themselves against the walls. Vorathians were apex predators on 17 colonized worlds. Their adults could tear through ship hulls with their crystalline claws. Even their young could bite through titanium. And this human was feeding them. Sergeant. Geltan's voice carried the harmonic of deep concern. The Vorathian juveniles were rescued from a destroyed colony ship. They are war orphans, traumatized and dangerous. The xenobiologists have been clear. The xenobiologists have been keeping them in cages. Kara loaded up trays with high-protein ration bars. She glanced back at her followers. Ren, Voss, Tira, formation hold. The 3 cubs froze mid-step. Tira, the smallest, wobbled slightly but maintained position. Kara continued. The traumatized and dangerous cubs who supposedly couldn't be socialized? They learned 15 commands in 3 days. They run a 5-mile perimeter check every morning. Ren here, she gestured to the largest cub, detected a coolant leak in Section 7 that our sensors missed. She set the trays on a corner table, deliberately isolated from the other diners. At ease, the cubs broke formation and scrambled to the table with all the grace of, well, puppies. Deadly armored puppies with retractable claws and bioluminescent threat displays. But puppies nonetheless. Geltan approached cautiously, his crystalline structure dimming, a sign of confusion among his species. How did you... The xenobiologist said Vorathian juveniles don't respond to non-pack members. Their social structure is rigid, instinctual. Kara sat down and immediately Voss tried to climb into her lap. She gently pushed him back to his seat. Negative, soldier. You eat from your own tray. Voss chittered, a disappointed sound, but obeyed. You want to know the secret, Commander? Kara broke a ration bar into smaller pieces, demonstrating proper eating pace for the cubs who were watching her with intense focus. The xenobiologists were right about one thing. Vorathian social structure is rigid. They're pack hunters who need hierarchy, discipline, and purpose. She pointed at Ren, who was trying to sneak food from Tira's tray. Ren, stand down. The cub froze, then slowly withdrew. Humans spent 10,000 years figuring out pack dynamics, Kara continued. We domesticated wolves, bred working dogs, created entire systems around cooperative hunting and hierarchy. These cubs don't need a xenobiologist with sedatives and observation protocols. She met Geltan's prismatic gaze. They need a pack leader. But you're not Vorathian, a voice piped up from across the mess hall. Lieutenant Xrix, a dendrite whose bark skin was pale with anxiety, had found the courage to speak. How can you be their pack leader? Kara smiled, that peculiar human expression that so many species found unsettling, all teeth and confidence. Because pack leadership isn't about species, Lieutenant. It's about consistency, clear communication, and proving you're worth following. She turned back to the cubs. Tira had finished her portion and was eyeing Voss's tray with predatory intent. Tira, look at me. The cub's multifaceted eyes swiveled to Kara. Good discipline. You ate your ration. Voss is responsible for his. When we get back to quarters, everyone who showed good table manners gets enrichment time in the training bay. Tira's bioluminescent. Patches pulsed a pleased blue. Geltan's structure flickered through several colors, the crystalline equivalent of deep thought. The council was prepared to transfer the Vorathian juveniles to a specialized facility on Raxus 9. They believed integration was impossible. Integration isn't the goal, Commander. Kara finished her meal and stood. The 3 cubs immediately lined up beside her, falling into formation without verbal command. Humans learned a long time ago you don't integrate predators. You give them a job. She gestured, and the cubs moved with her toward the disposal units. They waited while she cleared the trays, maintaining position despite the tempting scents from other tables. These 3, Kara continued. They're natural scouts. Ren has threat assessment instincts that would make our security chief jealous. Boss has spatial memory that borders on supernatural. He can navigate maintenance tunnels in complete darkness. And Tira? She glanced down at the smallest cub whose ear flaps perked up at her name. She's got pattern recognition skills our cryptography team would kill for. You're suggesting, Zheltan said slowly, that the Coalition employ Varathian juveniles in military capacities? I'm suggesting that every species has strengths. Humans, we're generalists. We're decent at everything, exceptional at adaptation, but we learned something important during our own evolution. The pack that hunts together survives together. Kara snapped her fingers, and the cubs lined up for departure. Renvos, Tira, ready for perimeter check. 3 sets of crystalline claws clicked against the deck plating in acknowledgement. As Kara led her team toward the exit, the mess hall remained silent. But it was a different silence now. Not fear, but contemplation. Lieutenant Ixreeks finally spoke, his bark skin flushing with embarrassment. I've been on this outpost for 2 cycles. I never thought to give the orphans a purpose. Kara paused at the doorway. That's the difference, Lieutenant. Most species see orphaned predators as a problem to contain. Humans? She looked back at the 3 cubs who waited with perfect discipline for her next command. We see recruits. The doors closed behind them and the mess hall erupted in conversation. Commander Zheltan returned to his table, but his meal remained untouched. He was already composing a report to the Council, one that would change Coalition policy on war orphans of predator species galaxy-wide. Because if humans could turn traumatized, Varathian cubs into functioning team members in less than a week, what else could they do? The answer, Zheltan suspected, would either save the Coalition or terrify it, possibly both.